Hi everybody, welcome back to our Prima Christmas in the Country mini album. This is a design team project for Country Craft Creations, and you can get all of the supplies there, and I will link it down below. And we have already begun, so let's get started. We have already made all 4 of our base pages, and last time we matted all of these pages except this one page that we still have to make an element for, and then we've matted this one. Okay, so let me set these 3 aside, and we'll talk about this last one. All right, so what we're putting on this last, or it's the next to last page, but it's the last page we're working on, is a flap. Okay, so you need a piece 6.5 by 8.5 for the flap. Okay, and then you're going to need a piece 6 by 8.5 for the flap lining. You're going to need a piece 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. You'll need some other mats, but we're going to need this one right away. And I am using, you want it to contrast, well, you'll see. Watch what we're going to do, and then you'll figure out what color you're going to need. All right, and then we're going to need a piece of vellum that is 5 by 6. And then you're going to need a piece of your decorative paper that is 5 by 7, give or take. And you'll see again as we go along why what you need. So for now, set aside this mat piece you're going to need. Set aside the pattern paper and the vellum for the moment, and set those aside. Okay, and you're going to need a few other pieces, but that'll be enough to get us started. All right, so what you're going to do, let me bring this over. This is a mock-up that I made for our window. Okay, so we need to cut a window into our flap, and then we're also going to trim around the window in a contrasting paper, and I am using white. Okay, and I haven't got the strips for the white yet, but you're going to need 1/2 inch strips for your white, and one that is let me see, that one, those are 1/2, and one that is, looks like I think I made a line here because I thought this one was too wide, so I think they're all going to be 1/2. All right, but you'll see as we go. All right, so for now, the only piece we're going to need to start with, we're going to set aside our base page. We're going to set aside all of our other pieces, and you're going to need the piece that is 6.5 by 8.5. Put the 6.5 inch side in your scoreboard and score at 1/2 inch down this side here on the left. All right, and then this piece is going to go on it as a mat, and you're going to do that first before we do anything else. So let's go ahead and get that done. And I am using, the pattern paper is the beautiful Christmas in the Country by Frank Garcia for Prima. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. And the cardstock is the artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations in linen and in burgundy. I'm sorry, I'll move her in a minute. Just get some glue down. Jolly. This is the appropriately named Jolly. Her sister is named Holly. What are you doing, honey? Let me put this down. Now, when you put this down, hopefully you can see. If not, as soon as I get her moved, I will show you. You want to, don't center it. You have to take that flap into account, that's going not to be there. All right, so, pretend that score mark is the edge of your paper. And I don't know what I did with looking for my baby wipe, and I do not see it. Sorry, I cleaned up my desk after the last time, and now I can't find anything. All right, honey. Scoot. There we go. Good girl. Well, I have a tissue, so I will use that for the moment until I find my baby wipe. Whoops, thought she was leaving, but didn't. All right, come on, Jolly. We're trying to get some work done. Here. Come on. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh. Okay, well, there is my... bone folder. Still don't see my baby wipe, but that's all right. And we definitely want to make sure this is well burnished. Okay. And I feel as though that corner is lifting up a little bit, just a touch. Okay. Just put a dab more glue in there. And let's see. Okay, there is my baby wipe. I'm just pulling out a fresh one. I use these ones from CVS, and they are dry. I am not using wet baby wipes, and what I just did is pulled some out which are wet, and I'm setting them on my little camera stand here to dry. Okay, so there. So now we have our piece. Okay, and here's the flap. It's going to open like this, and we want a window cut into this piece. So what you're going to do is grab a pencil, and we're going to use, I'm going to use my Frank Garcia ruler, and we're going to use a craft knife that is very sharp. I want you to be very, very careful working with this, okay? And what we're going to do is, sorry, now we are going to cover the back of this, so that's where we're going to make our marks, on the back. So you want to take your ruler, make sure you can see. I'm sorry, I've got my microphone wire. I've got to figure something out about that. And you want to make a mark. Hang on. Okay, so this is the bottom. And across the bottom, you want to make a 2-inch mark. So hang on, let me grab a wider ruler. And as you can see, this ruler is not in great shape. It's not my favorite, but so you're going to draw a mark, and you don't have to be too light-handed because you are going to cover it, but we're going to make a 2-inch mark across here. Now remember, you've got your score line here. You don't have to go across that. Okay, then on the side, I'll switch. You're going to make a 1-inch mark. And on the other side, you're going to make a 1-inch mark, but that 1-inch mark is going to be from the fold, so from the score line. All right, and this Frank Garcia ruler is 1.5 inches, I believe. So you know what? I'm going to use this other one. I just want to make sure I'm getting it in the right spot. Whoop. Hang on, that would be 2. There we go. Okay. Whoops, hang on. Now see, that should have been 1 inch. Yeah, 1 inch from the fold, so that's right. Almost thought I had it wrong from it. It's confusing because you've got on this side, you've got the score line with the extra 1/2 inch. So it's 1 inch and 1 inch. And on this side, you've got your extra 1/2 inch. Okay, and then on the top, it's 1 1/2 inches from the top. Okay, so you've drawn yourself a rectangle. All right, and what we need to do is cut this rectangle out. using the metal edge. You could use the metal edge of, whatever ruler you have, but I'm using my Tim Holtz for this. And I'm going to excuse myself right now. My head may get in the picture. And you're going to just run your knife along the line. Try not to go past. I think I just did a little bit. I can't really see. And it's going to take you several passes, and you want to make sure you've got a sharp blade. All right, let's see, because you have to go through multiple layers. I'm just going to see if I can. I'm not eyeballing this so much because there's already a cut there, and I'm just, whoops, but see, I went off. So if you feel more comfortable cutting this some other way, like with scissors or something like that, be my guest. Okay. So. Last little corner. There. Okay. There we go. And you can go ahead if you need to and just neaten up any little bits that you have. I've got a little spot right there. Okay. All right. Good. Looks like I've got a little something there. See, the corner is not real sharp, but let's see if I can fix that. Okay. Oh, this corner here. Okay, just like that. Okay, I don't know if you can hear my cat. She's howling her head off because I kicked her out of the room. Okay, I mean, the door is open. She could come back, but she's just would rather howl. All right, so now getting out my little cutter. Let's set this aside for a second. You're going to need some 1/2-inch strips of a contrasting paper. Now I am using white. If you like, let me show you this. You could use the same background color, the linen, but I have some white scraps, so I'm going to use white. But you could use the linen if you want. And the longest piece is going to be 5.5 inches. So any scrap you have that's at least 5.5 inches will be fine. Let's see, this is a scrap, so I just want to make sure I've got a fairly straight edge and cut a strip, and you're going to need a total, let's see, of 1, 2, 7 strips. Okay, so we have 7 strips, and we're going to need, all right, I'm going to do them one at a time. So we're going to need a piece. I'm measuring my opening. My opening is 4 inches, so 4 1/4. I need one piece 4 1/4. Okay, put this over here, and then we need a piece. Excuse me. Now you're going to measure. This is 5, so I need a piece 5 1/4. So I need a piece 4 1/4 to go across the middle, and a piece 5 1/4 to go up and down. Okay, just like that. All right. Then I'm going to need 2 pieces that are, I just want to make sure both of these, because I didn't, might not have cut it perfectly straight. 2 pieces that are 5 inches for the sides. And let's glue those down, and then we'll cut the other 3 pieces. It's better to get these down first and then measure for the others before we cut them. All right. Now you can measure exactly centered side to side and top to bottom if you like. I am just going to eyeball it, and I'm going to put the top to bottom one first. So this one's going to go first. Okay. Now, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Hang on. Before I do that, let me grab, I'm just going to ink the inside edge just to tone down that white where you can see it, or that linen color. Okay, and I have a little rough spot right there. Let me see. There we go. Just want to get rid of that. It's your last chance to get everything the way you want it. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's try that again. All right, so is this my piece? No. I'm going to lose track. These are the 2 pieces. Okay, so this is my piece that goes here. All right, so I just put, I don't think you could see, I'm sorry, I think I was off camera. I just put a little bit of glue at the top and the bottom because we only have an 1/8 inch overlap. And I'm just eyeballing the center. Make sure it's reasonably straight. all straight, I don't think. Let's see. Got 1 3/4, 1 3/4, 1 3/4. Well, it's a little bit, tiny little bit off, but not much. Let's see, maybe I can, no, I don't want to risk it. Okay. And then we have this piece, which is going to go across the middle. Okay, and you can see I've got my window semi lined up with the lines on my board to help try and get it straight. That looks about right. And we're going to do the same thing, just a little bit of glue top and bottom. Okay, there. Okay, and then you want to take your glue and just tuck that up under there and get a little glue there. You want to in the cross there. Okay, just like that. Okay, now we're going to take our 2 side pieces, and these are going to go here, and you can slightly overlap the opening if you want. If you feel like your opening is not as clean and neat as you'd like it, you can just overlap slightly and that'll hide that. If it's fine for you, just line it up with the edge either way. There's a lot of different ways to do pages like this. This is one of the more straightforward methods. What you could do, and I'll show you when we get to it, what we're going to do with this one is there'll be a scene behind the window, but it won't actually be looking through to the next page, which you could do, and I'll show you how, or at least I'll tell you how. But I wanted to make this as easy as possible for you, so we're skipping that. It's not difficult, but it's not something that I wanted to do today. All right, so again, I've put glue all over the back. I'm going to line this up. And just like that. Okay. There. All right, so then what we need, and this is the reason that I left this till I got it on, is we need 2 pieces that are, well, actually, hang on, we need 1 piece, just 1 piece. The top is this shorter side, so we need 1 piece, the length from the outside to the outside of these 2 trim pieces, and that is, in my case, 5 1/16. Okay, so let me grab my, I'm just gonna put my pin in my glue, and I'm cutting these on this little cutter because my big cutter will not cut anything this narrow. All right, so 5 and pull that up, hopefully you can see, 5 1/16. Okay, and this is the top. I've got it upside down right now. This is the top, this is the bottom, and you're going to rest that right up against the cuts that the cut ends here, and it's going to overlap there, but you can see I've got a little bit showing right there, so I may overlap mine. That may be the one that I cut a little off the line earlier. Yeah, I'm just going to overlap slightly since I didn't cut mine straight. If yours is straight, just bump it right up against there. Okay. Or, you know, what I could do, I'm just thinking, I could bump it right up and then trim that. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to overlap slightly is what I'm going to do. All right, so get your glue. Remember, this is, I mean, you're not building a house here, so, you know, if it's not 100% square and perfect, it's fine. It's homemade. It's a country Christmas album. I mean, if you're a tiny bit off, fine. It wasn't made by a machine. Right? We're having fun here, I hope. I don't want this to be a job for you or difficult. It should be fun. Okay, there we go. All right, looks fine. All right, now we're going to do the same thing on the bottom, but instead of making it exactly the same length, we want the bottom to be a little wider because, you know, it's meant to be the windowsill, right? So that's going to be, let's see, mine is, let's see, I'm going to go with 5.5. That's going to give me just a little less than 1/4 of an inch on either side. So let's cut the next one 5.5. Okay. And I just want to make sure I don't have any rough spots or anything that I can't fix. I need to do it now before I put all this on. And so this one, you're going to overlap slightly again, and you're going to just center it side to side. About like so. Okay, just get an idea where I want to put it. And don't press down too hard until you've got it where you want it. That looks good. Whoop, that's my pin. All right. And then the last piece is going to be, we want it to be a little shorter than this piece, but not as short as this piece. All right. So that's going to be 5.25. I think I measured that right. Double check. Hopefully I did. All right. Yeah. So with this piece, I forget what it's called. I think it's called the skirt or something, in the window trim that goes underneath. And we're going to put all kinds of decorations and things here, so don't worry too much here. You just want to get it on there as neatly as you can, but don't panic if it's not perfect, because like I said, there'll be flowers and who knows what. I haven't even decided yet, but we're definitely going to be putting stuff here. Just like that. Okay. So there we have our window. That wasn't too hard, right? All right. Now, let me explain what I was saying earlier. What we're going to do, let me pull my piece. What we're going to do is take a piece that's the exact size of this piece, except without the score line, and we're going to put it on the back, right? And there'll be stuff in between. But if you wanted to be able to look all the way through this window to whatever you have on the the next page or the inside of the flap, you would simply repeat what we just did on this piece. Okay, so I'm just giving you that heads up. However, we are not going to do that. Okay, pull this aside. So the next step for us is, I'm just going to leave it like that. You know what? I think we can go ahead and fold and burnish this now. So let's get that done, because we want to make sure when we do put the lining piece in that it doesn't interfere with the function of this as a flap. And don't worry about all this on the back. It's not going to be visible. Okay. And what do I do with my little scissors? Oh, there they are. These are Cutter Bee scissors, and I'm pretty sure you can get these at Country Craft Creations too. If you can't, I'll put a link, but I think you can. And I love them. They're my favorite. Okay. So then, what we need on the back, the first thing we're going to put is a piece of vellum. Now I have this piece of vellum that I've cut, and I haven't decided yet, because I have another piece that I'm going to show you. All right, so this piece, this came from a pack from the office supply store, is 5 by 6. Okay, and that's going to go there. And then I have cut, let me find it, hang on. All right, from my pattern paper, this piece, and you can see we've got the barn, because that's what I want to see out the window. And I cut it 7 by 5. And you can see I'm going to put it in there like that, right? And if you don't want to put the vellum, don't put the vellum. You can just put it like that. But I want the vellum. So we're going to cover that, and then that is going to go like that, right? But I have in my stash, and the one I'm dithering about using it because you probably don't have it in your stash, but I got it at, you know, one of the big box stores. I think Michael's, maybe Joann's, but I have this sparkly snowflake, and I think I am going to use it. But if you can't get it, you saw that this vellum looks really nice too. So let me go ahead and just cut this. And you can see I've used it. I put windows in a lot of my Christmas albums. I don't know why, but I just do. And I've used it in probably all of them. Okay, so set that aside. All right. And let's put this vellum down first, and it's just going to go here. And I want to make sure it's not too wide, but it's fine. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to run glue, if I can get it to come out of the bottle. And let's move our pattern paper before I get glue all over that. Well, I think I need to refill this bottle. It's got plenty, but when it gets lower, it's slow. Okay. So I'm just gonna go around. Whoops, that's gonna, yeah. You don't want too much. You don't want it to ooze out and be visible. Okay. And you want to go here on your mullions. All right, just like that. And let's try to, if this is the top, that's the bottom. Just trying to see which way the snowflakes are oriented on this, and it's kind of It doesn't really matter. All right, and then we're just gonna pat that down. All right, and then once you've done that, if you want, you can either go in and trim off some of this excess or just put in some more glue. I wasn't sure how wide mine was, so go. Okay. All right, so now we have our vellum. All right, and the next thing that we want to do is our barn. Okay, and we want to play around with it until it's basically where we want it. I think kind of like it there, like here, because I can see the door of the barn. Like that. And what I'm doing, I'm just going to turn it over, make some marks. Okay. I'm going to run glue inside those marks that we just made. Hope you can see what I'm doing here. Whoop, I went outside that line. It's all right. Let me just go ahead. I'm just going to take my baby wipe and wipe some of that excess glue. And then we're going to take this. I'm trying to decide if I want to attach it here. And I feel like I don't, because there's supposed to be some distance between the window and the barn. So I'm not going to stick it to that. So I'm just lining up with the lines that I previously made. It's just before I burnish that down. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay. Yeah, I really like that. And when we get some flowers and things on here, it's going to look great. Okay, so then the last thing we need to do is, I'm just gonna, I feel like that's sticking up a little. No, I guess it's fine. All right, is put the lining piece. So here is our lining piece, and we want to line it up with the outer corners, and we want to make sure that it is not interfering with this flap, and mine is not. Oop. Oh, you know what we forgot? Hang on. We need to put a magnet on this piece, because this is the lining of that flap. Hang on, let's do that real quick before we forget. All right, so all right, this is going to go like that. So we need the magnet to be about here. Oh, I'm glad I remembered that. Let's put it right there. Okay. Whoops. All right. again, you want to line up your corners. Line up that corner. Line up that corner. And top edge. Mine looks a little bit short, but it's all right. I'd rather have it too short than too long. All right. And then you'll really want to burnish this well, but be careful where that magnet is. And actually be careful overall because you've got kind of funky layers under there. But especially just get these edges, all right? All right, so there we have our window with our magnet because miraculously I remembered it. Sorry, that's my microphone again. Get that over there. All right, let's grab our page, which I have here. All right, so this is the top, this is the bottom, and this flap is going to go right here. Okay. Just like that. So let's go ahead, put this piece on, then we'll do the matching magnet, and then we'll pick out something to line these two, which I have a couple of things in mind. Glue open. All right, and I'm just turning this so I can line it up, top and bottom. This piece looks just a little wide, but I'm not concerned about it. Just want to make sure I didn't get ink on this baby wipe because I left my ink over there open, and I did get some ink on it. There. All right, and let's put the matching magnet. Use this piece. What did I do with my pin? I was going to put the pin back in my glue, but I don't see it, so let me just grab another one. I have a little magnet. Oh, that's not a good one. Attached to my metal cart that I keep extra pins for the glue bottles on. Okay. Oh, well, and there's my pin right there. There we go. Okay. And let's see. Now we're not going to add any pockets or anything in here. We've got enough going on without that. So let's choose. I have this piece set aside, and this is the same piece the barn was cut out of. It's quite pretty. So I think we may use that for one. And let me just grab another piece. I'll be right back. So these are the large pieces that I have left without actually cutting into a new piece of 12 by 12. So I think I'll use something from this. So I've got this. I've got that. I think this piece is too short because it's directional. it is too short. So let me get rid of that one. I love this star, which makes a nice background for a large photo. Let me look at the other pages. Let's see. All right, so we have that. And so we do have one large page already with the buffalo plaid. And we do have a large page with this exact image on it. Okay, so that takes care of that. This is definitely going to be the star. I love this paper. This is the one that faces the window, right? And then this turns and it has these same two papers, so that's nice. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use these two pieces, the star and the wreath. And I think I'm going to put the star here because it's a perfect place for a really large, beautiful photo to be. And then this piece over here. All right, so let's cut these. And they should be the same size, which is 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. And this one's 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. Make sure you've got your paper right side up. This is a directional print. Here we go. This paper collection is just so pretty. Last year's was pretty, but this one is really gorgeous. I feel like just tucking a little more glue up right in that spot. There we go. That's pretty. Okay. So let's review our pages and then we'll put them in the book because we have that already. We started with that, right? All right, let me put my pin in. All right, so we have page 1, which has our flaps and a pockets. And then we have, this is our magnetized little envelope. And we have our flap, another pocket, a double flap with a vellum pocket, a diagonal belly band, our window that opens, and then our double pocket here. Okay, done. All right, so let's grab our book that we made previously. There we go. And we still have our fins that need their tape put on them, and I'm just going to burnish these a little bit. As I mentioned when we were making it, that the more you burnish and work these, the more flexible they'll be and the more flexible your pages will be. All right. And I generally like to trim my corners a little bit, even though I've made them shorter than the pages. I just like doing it. It makes it, I feel like it's easier to get the pages on. All right, and I like to use score tape for this step. And I like to use, well, I've got 3/8. I'm trying to decide if I want to use 3/8 or if I'd rather use quarter for this. 3/8 will be all right. Okay, so what you want to do when you're putting this tape down is put it right at the top folded edge of the fin, not down at the base, because you're not going to be putting your pages all the way down to the base. Looking for my little metal ruler that I like to use, and I don't see it. Well, I'll use my scissors. Hang on. As I was saying, you're not going to put the pages right down to the base, so you don't want the tape to be showing at the base. So put the tape up near the top. Especially if you're using the 3/8, because you don't have a lot of space to work with. It's almost as wide as the fins, so. And this is really easier to do before you put the fins in the book, but I always forget it. All right, and then we're gonna snip these corners off. Now, before we put the pages in, take a good look at your cover. If you have any corner that you don't like, or if you have a corner you particularly like, and you want that to be the front or the back. Mine looks pretty good. I don't really care too much. I'm just going to leave it the way I had it. You know, make that the back and that the front, because this is your last chance to make that choice. All right, so we're going to start with this back page. Whoops. Hang on. I'm just noticing my flap look like it needs a little glue here in the corner. Okay. All right. And we're going to dry fit. When you've got a page that has as much going on as this one does, you want to make sure you're putting it in that opening and not like inside a flap or something. Okay, that's good. All right. So I'm just going to pull that back a little bit. And then I'm going to put my page down. Again, almost, but not quite all the way. And press. Okay. And we could open this up and press it down really well. Okay. And then we want to grab a tool of some sort that we can reach in there and get that other piece. There we go. All right, there we go. First one in. And it's nice and straight, top and bottom, side to side. All right, now the next one, move that out of the way, turn these over, is this one. And what you want to do with this one, same thing, we're just going to dry fit it on there. But you need to make sure it lines up with this previous one, right? Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm just lifting, you can see, hang on, lifting this up. Well, there we go. Pull a couple of inches of that tape off. I'm going to put it back down. And again, line it up with that previous page. So make sure I've got it right where I want it. And then pull that tape out. Put it in and press. Okay. And we're going to turn it over. Whoops. I just realized the pin is out of this glue. I'm terrible about remembering to put the pin in my glue. That. Okay, now we just need to get in there and get this piece out. All right. Now, if you ever do this and you do find you have a little stickiness down here from your from where maybe your score tape is poking out a little bit, just dust it with a little sheer powder, brush the powder off, and that'll get rid of the stickiness. Okay, that looks good. And let's do the next one. And that one, I just want to remember, make sure I have it in the right place, is this one. Okay. And so that goes down there. Let's get it lined up. Again, we're going to pull off just a couple inches of this tape, put it back. Make sure it's lined up. There we go. That is really pretty. I'm really liking this album. Okay. I think I say that about all my albums, but I guess that's how it should be, right? We put all this work into them, we should like them. And the last page. Last page or first page, I guess. I always start at the back and work to the front. I'm not sure why, but all right, now this one, hang on, I just want to make sure we have a little, this one, like the last flap I'm showing, needs a little glue. Hang on. Let me see, can you see that right there? That corner of that flap is coming up a little bit, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it a little extra glue. Okay, it's your last chance to make little fixes like that. So, I mean, you could probably do it after it was in the book, but it's easier when it's out of the book. Okay, so now do our last little, I'm going to make sure I've got it in the right spot. That's it. And again, we want to line it up with the other pages to make sure it's where it belongs. you know what? I feel like I put that one a little far down and it doesn't want to turn. Let's see. Might just be the bulk. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? It's turning now. I think it was just kind of bulky and needed to be worked a little bit. That's fine. Okay. There we go. Yeah, you can see it's lying nice and flat. Now, it's not going to lie nice and flat forever because we're going to be putting all kinds of things in this album. So, I am so pleased with this. Okay, I think we're at a very good stopping point. We've made our window and we've got our pages in our book, and we're going to do our final mats here and here, and whatever pockets or whatever we decide to put here and here. And then we just need to do our covers and our embellishing. So you can see we've got a lot of room between the pages to add things. Okay. All right. And just work your pages, you know, back and forth to get them nice. And you can see these are turning pretty well. This one, like I said, has a little bit of bulk on the front, but it's fine. Looking good. Okay. And of course we'll be adding things to it, so I'm just wondering, I'm still wondering if I should lift that up a little. There's not really a lot of room to play with, but I think it's going to be fine because when I open it, it is lying flat. Okay. All right. So I'll get to this point, and next time we'll work on these inside covers and possibly the outside covers. And after that, we'll embellish and we should be done. So I make that sound like it's going to be done in one. It's not. It's going to be at least 2 more videos, maybe even 3. So thank you so much for watching. This is Christmas in the Country from Prima. It is a design team project for Country Craft Creations, and I will link them down below. You can get all of the supplies there. It's a wonderful resource for you. Highly recommend the store, highly recommend the Facebook group. So many free tutorials from the design team and also in the Facebook group. It's a great resource. So thank you so much for watching. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. I'd really appreciate it. And if you have, thank you so much. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.